Hello everyone, welcome back to Unveiling Mythical Legends. Today we're going to explore one of the most powerful and intimidating sea gods in Greek mythology, Poseidon. Not only is he the ruler of the oceans, but he also possesses the power to change nature itself, whether it's causing a massive tsunami or calming the raging waves. Poseidon's influence had a profound impact on ancient Greek seafaring culture. If you're interested in myths, power, or even sea adventures, this episode is one you absolutely cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any more exciting stories. Go ahead, hit subscribe, share, and leave a comment telling us which Poseidon legend is your favorite. Poseidon, the sea god from Greek mythology, is the son of Cronus and Rhea and the brother of Zeus. He is the master of the oceans, particularly ruling over the vast Mediterranean Sea. Poseidon's personality, much like the seas he controls, is unpredictable. When the sea rises with towering waves, fierce winds howl, and storms rage, it is a symbol of Poseidon's anger. Conversely, when the ocean is calm and reflective, shimmering under the sunlight, that's when he is soothing the waves. Ancient Greek poets often depicted him as a god who could be both serene and terrifying. His emotions directly influenced the state of the seas, and whether calm or tempestuous, it was directly tied to the fate of sailors. For ancient seafaring peoples, Poseidon was not only a symbol of natural forces, but also a reflection of their daily lives. Before embarking on a voyage, sailors would pray for a safe journey, and upon a safe return, they would give thanks and offer sacrifices. All of this made Poseidon one of the most formidable and revered gods in mythology. The supreme status of Poseidon. In the early days of Greek mythology, Poseidon did not hold the unquestionable status of the sea god that he would later achieve. Initially, he was simply a symbol of the water element and did not occupy a particularly important position in the hierarchy of the gods. However, as seafaring technology advanced and maritime trade with other nations became more frequent, Poseidon's status gradually rose, and he eventually became the ruler of the oceans. With the flourishing of sea trade, Poseidon's role became increasingly significant. He began to control the storms and waves of the sea, becoming the leader of the sea gods and wielding immense power. Poseidon's power was nearly limitless, particularly when it came to causing maritime disasters. He had the ability to unleash destructive storms, and when a storm struck, the waves on the sea could rise to the height of mountains, while fierce winds could create violent hurricanes. Thick fog would rise over the sea, obscuring vision, and unfortunate sailors would face enormous threats, with the risk of being consumed by these natural disasters at any moment. For ancient seafarers, such disasters were almost unavoidable, which is why they both revered and relied on Poseidon. However, Poseidon was not only a god who brought destruction, he also had the ability to calm the oceans and stabilize the waves. When fierce storms raged across the seas, Poseidon could use his power to calm the tumultuous waters, restoring peace to the ocean and allowing sailors to navigate safely. This made Poseidon not only the bringer of destruction, but also the protector of sailors. In ancient Greek seafaring culture, sailors would always pray to Poseidon before setting sail, asking for his blessing to calm the storms of the sea and ensure that their ships would sail smoothly. When they returned home safely, they would also offer sacrifices to this powerful sea god as a way of expressing their gratitude. Poseidon's dual nature, both a symbol of disaster and a protector, made him one of the most paradoxical yet crucial deities in Greek mythology. The Trident and Poseidon's power. Poseidon's power comes from the trident he wields, a mysterious artifact that not only symbolizes him, but also grants him supreme abilities to alter the natural world. The trident is a symbol of Poseidon's divine authority, and every swing of it seems capable of shaking the heavens and earth, unleashing boundless power. This weapon is not just the mark of the sea god. It can trigger earthquakes, shake the land, and even raise islands from the seafloor to create new landforms. Every time Poseidon strikes with the trident, the sea surges, and the force of the ocean transforms into a mighty shockwave, sweeping everything in its path and destroying all that cannot withstand it. This boundless power makes Poseidon the most formidable of the sea gods. Moreover, Poseidon's trident can astonishingly summon underground water sources, even causing wells to spring from the earth, providing a never-ending flow of water. These miraculous abilities make him, in the minds of the ancient Greeks, not only the source of sea disasters, but also the master of natural forces. Whether it's the stormy waves of the ocean or the underground waters, all are under his control. With such power, Poseidon commands dominance not only over the seas, land, but even the underworld. This trident, beyond being an immensely powerful weapon, is an ultimate symbol, representing Poseidon's absolute control over the oceans, earthquakes, and waters, making him one of the most awe-inspiring and fearsome deities. When ships sail on the seas, sailors know that it is only Poseidon's anger or calm that determines the fate of their journey, and all of this is closely tied to the power of his trident. The connection between Poseidon and fishermen. Poseidon was not only the ruler of the sea, but also the protector of fishermen and sailors. In ancient coastal civilizations, especially those relying on maritime trade, Poseidon held a position of immense importance. For these nations, the sea was not only essential for survival, but also the source of prosperity, and Poseidon was the undisputed ruler of these waters. He controlled the rhythms of the ocean, from the storms to the tides, with everything under his dominion. In this context, Poseidon's influence on the lives of fishermen and sailors was profound, even becoming an integral part of their spiritual world. Many saw him as their guardian, praying for his protection and hoping for calm seas and safe journeys when they set sail or went fishing. In these maritime trading nations, fish were a primary trade commodity, making the worship of Poseidon especially strong. Whether in coastal fishing villages or bustling port cities, statues of Poseidon and rituals honoring him were ubiquitous. Before setting out, sailors would offer sacrifices to Poseidon at the bow of their ships, praying for safe travels. Upon returning to port, they would thank the sea god for his protection and express their gratitude for a successful voyage. However, Poseidon's anger was equally feared. His wrath often manifested as tsunamis and floods, disasters that not only devastated the coastal lands, but also claimed countless ships and lives. These terrifying sea disasters were often accompanied by attacks from sea monsters, creatures that embodied Poseidon's fury. Like massive beasts, they roamed the vast ocean, attacking ships that failed to avoid the floods and helpless sailors caught in the chaos. Sea monsters, such as Scylla and Charybdis, were typically seen as representations of the sea god's wrath. With their massive mouths wide open, they would devour those who dared to challenge Poseidon's authority. Whenever such disasters occurred, Poseidon's anger was like the merciless waves of the sea, destroying everything in its path, leaving only sorrow and death in its wake. In this context, Poseidon was both a threat and a protector. The respect and fear that sailors and fishermen held for him were intertwined, and this complex mix of emotions made him one of the most paradoxical yet crucial deities in Greek mythology. His power was as deep and unfathomable as the ocean itself, and whether it was the wrath of a violent storm or the calm that soothed the waves, everything was under his control, and no one could escape his influence. Poseidon's appearance and personality. Poseidon's appearance often mirrors that of his brother Zeus, but with key differences that strongly reflect his fiery, violent, and menacing personality. His face is sharper than Zeus's, with piercing, intense eyes that seem ready to strike down any challenger with immense power at any moment. This gaze is filled with fury and determination, showcasing the formidable aura of a god who rules over the oceans. Poseidon's hair is dark and disheveled, flowing freely around his shoulders like a stormy, untamed force of nature, adding to his intimidating and powerful presence. His physique is muscular and broad, with a chest that signifies unmatched strength. This not only indicates his physical prowess, but also symbolizes his invincible position in battle. Every line of his muscles seems to declare that he is the embodiment of the sea god, so powerful that he can shake the very earth or control the vast waves of the ocean. One of Poseidon's most iconic representations is him riding a majestic shell chariot, pulled by two magnificent seahorses. The horses' manes shine like golden flames, and their hooves gleam with a brilliance akin to brass, further emphasizing Poseidon's otherworldly might and dominance over the seas. When Poseidon rides his seahorses across the stormy seas, his chariot and the horses seem to share an incredible harmony. Their speed is so great that they barely touch the waves, as if the entire ocean is making way for him. In such a scene, Poseidon is the undisputed ruler of the seas, and everything falls under his control, with no force capable of stopping his power. His chariot races across the ocean's surface, challenging the power of the sea, as if each leap demonstrates his dominance over nature. The seahorses, guided by his command, charge forward, with waves crashing and spray flying, symbolizing Poseidon's supreme control over the ocean and his fearless defiance of any threat. The image of this sea god is both majestic and powerful, evoking a sense of awe in every onlooker, as they witness his unparalleled authority and unstoppable might. The deep sea palace and the dwelling of the gods. Poseidon's palace is located at the bottom of the Aegean Sea, a beautiful and magnificent underwater temple, seemingly a treasure deep within the ocean. The palace's exterior is made of golden light, which has withstood countless years of ocean currents, still shining brightly, resembling golden stars twinkling in the deep sea. The grandeur of the palace is not only reflected in its appearance, but also in its exquisite interior. Tall columns support the domed roof, and the light from the dome reflects the shimmering waves of the sea, sparkling like the stars of the ocean. Surrounding the palace, silver fountains quietly flow, producing crisp sounds of water, like the whispers of the sea, perfectly blending with the surrounding tranquility. This mysterious and splendid palace is surrounded by ocean plants that sway gently in the water like feathers. They dance in the currents, interwoven with the coral and various seaweeds on the seabed, creating a dreamlike scene. The vibrant colors of these plants complement the deep blues and greens of the sea, crafting a world full of life and mystery. When night falls, the glowworms of the deep sea light up with faint glimmering points, like stars, illuminating every corner of the palace, making the underwater temple shine in the darkness, like an underwater dream, mysterious and magnificent. Although Poseidon possesses such an awe-inspiring underwater palace, his residence is not always fixed here. While Poseidon primarily resides in his grand palace, he travels to Mount Olympus only when he needs to attend the meetings of the gods, where he discusses matters of the heavens with the other deities. This undoubtedly reflects his obedience and reverence towards Zeus. Although he holds undisputed sovereignty over the oceans, Poseidon always shows humility and submission when facing the ruler of Mount Olympus. This reveals the complexity of the relationships between gods in Greek mythology. Even the mightiest sea god cannot fully escape Zeus' authority, and despite Poseidon's unrivaled power and status, he still needs to maintain a certain level of coordination and cooperation with the other gods of Olympus. The relationship with Zeus. The relationship between Poseidon and Zeus is filled with contradictions and complex emotions. Although they are brothers and have shown deep friendship in many events, their relationship is not always harmonious, with moments of conflict and friction. Poseidon demonstrated his immense strength when Zeus faced great threats, particularly during the battle with the giant Polybotes. Poseidon stepped forward and courageously helped Zeus. When Polybotes attacked, Poseidon did not hesitate to hurl the island of Kos at the giant, successfully destroying the enemy. This act not only showcased his power, but also demonstrated his loyalty and support for his brother Zeus. However, despite Poseidon and Zeus fighting side by side, their relationship was not always so amicable. At one point, Poseidon, Hera, and Athena conspired to imprison Zeus, attempting to overthrow his rule. This plot, although eventually uncovered and leading to Poseidon's punishment, revealed Poseidon's dissatisfaction with Zeus' reign. As the ruler of the seas, Poseidon's ambition and power led him to crave more authority, and the failure of this conspiracy served as a valuable lesson for him. After his punishment, Poseidon had to relinquish his control over the seas and, in alliance with the god Apollo, helped build the famous walls of Troy. This act represented his submission following the punishment, but also demonstrated that he still possessed great construction abilities and far-reaching influence. Poseidon's relationship with Zeus thus becomes an important example in Greek mythology, showcasing the complexity of both cooperation and conflict between the gods. It also reflects that even the mightiest sea god cannot escape inner struggles and ambitions. Poseidon's family and descendants. Poseidon's wife was the sea nymph Amphitrite, and their marriage was also filled with its own twists and tales. According to legend, when Poseidon pursued Amphitrite, he did not appear in his usual godly form, but instead took the shape of a dolphin. This unconventional courtship ultimately won Amphitrite's heart, and the two were married. However, although Amphitrite became Poseidon's wife, she was not entirely content with the relationship, especially when she discovered Poseidon's infatuation with the beautiful nymph Scylla. Jealousy began to grow in her heart. In revenge for Poseidon's affection for Scylla, Amphitrite secretly cast certain mysterious herbs into Scylla's bathing pool. The effects of these herbs were terrifyingly potent, transforming Scylla into a monstrous creature with 6 heads, 12 legs, and a long neck. This creature's appearance was horrifying, and its presence brought fear to sailors navigating near the rock formations known as the Strait of Messina. Whenever ships drew near these rocks, Scylla would leap from her hiding place, swiftly capturing the unfortunate sailors, causing them immense and often fatal damage. This legend made Scylla one of the most threatening sea monsters in Greek mythology, symbolizing the jealousy and punishment in Poseidon and Amphitrite's marriage. Additionally, Poseidon and Amphitrite's marriage produced many powerful offspring, including Triton, Rhoda, and Bentesakyme, among others. These children inherited their parents' divine oceanic bloodline and played important roles in various myths. Triton, the son of Poseidon and Amphitrite, was a powerful and threatening sea god, often depicted holding a trident, closely resembling the power of his father. Rhoda was often regarded as one of the sea goddesses, possessing extraordinary abilities and appearing in many mythological tales. Bentesakyme, a sea monster, represented the immense marine dominion of the Poseidon family. These descendants, in their appearance, strength, and character, embodied the bloodline of Poseidon and Amphitrite, becoming protectors of the sea and fearsome creatures. They continued the power and fear of the sea god throughout the vast expanse of mythology. Poseidon, as one of the most threatening and powerful deities in Greek mythology, profoundly reveals the relentless and unpredictable nature of the forces of nature. As the ruler of the seas, Poseidon's power is not only manifested in the maritime disasters he can unleash, but also in his profound influence and control over the ocean. When Poseidon is enraged, the sea transforms into a violent storm, with towering waves, fierce winds, and havoc, making it impossible for any sailor who dares to challenge him to escape unscathed. However, Poseidon does not always bring destruction. He also has the ability to calm the seas and soothe the storms. On days of clear skies and calm waters, Poseidon ensures that sailors can sail safely. This intense duality is akin to the sea itself, filled with unpredictable storms and boundless tranquility. Poseidon's trident is a symbol of his power. It is not only a tool for conquering the seas, but also a mark of his sovereignty over the ocean. Every time he wields the trident, Poseidon can control the waves of the sea, summon storms, or calm the waves. Whether he makes the ocean rage or restores tranquility, his trident determines the fate of the sea. The existence of this weapon makes Poseidon one of the most threatening figures in Greek mythology. In the minds of the ancient Greeks, Poseidon was not just a deity. He also symbolized the relentless and mysterious nature of the ocean, profoundly influencing their reverence and understanding of the seas. For ancient sailors, Poseidon's power represented life and death, a constant intertwining of hope and fear. Whether the ocean was calm or turbulent, Poseidon always ruled over it from behind the scenes, and his dual nature made people both in awe and helpless before this sea god. That's it for today's story of Poseidon. We hope you now have a deeper understanding of this powerful and complex sea god. Whether it's his trident or his sovereignty over the ocean, Poseidon is undoubtedly one of the most awe-inspiring figures in mythology. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends. Also, feel free to leave a comment below, sharing your thoughts on Poseidon or your favorite mythological tales. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so we can continue exploring more mysterious worlds together. See you in the next episode.